Hi, it's me, Daphne, and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be talking about all the books I read way back in April. I'm filming this May 30th, and I'll have to be doing my May wrap-up very soon. And I'm very behind on videos because May was lifing really hard, and I'm not going to get into it, but it was just like a lot. I was not consistent posting, but I am here now, and I still have a lot of videos to catch up on, and I still have a lot of high hopes that I will post them for you as quickly as possible, but please bear with me. Anyway, let's dive into the 5 books I read in April. So we're just going to do this fast and casual. The first book I finished in April was A Method to His Madness by the one and only Jessica Cain. This one was wild. I gave it 3 stars. So the premise of this smutty novella is that we have our main character, Ashley, who is older for a Jessica Cain character. She was early 20s, I think. She was married to this guy, Waylon, for a couple weeks, but he's like a horrible person. He is just evil, and he kind of manipulated her family into like forcing her to marry him because of like a debt they owed him, allegedly. So they go to like couples counseling, and then it's Ashley's romance with the therapist guy whose name is Caleb. It gets wild. Caleb like convinces the husband to allow Ashley to like do these private sessions with him, and he just wants to like steal her away, and it just goes from there. And then I read The Devil in Her Bed, which was the 3rd book in Kierkegaard Burns' Devil You Know series. This was following like a trio of redheaded, I don't know if like adventurous is the right word, but like more boisterous and like outgoing and just not like the typical woman for that historical time period. But anyway, this one I hated. I gave this 2.5 stars. I'm like trying to remember the plot. Again, I read this so long ago. It's a bit blurry. My mommy texted me. Oh, there's a mama deer and a baby deer in her yard. So this one is about our hero who's works for the crown or something. He has a bit of a hidden identity situation, which is similar to our heroine, Francesca. She also has a hidden identity. She used to be a servant girl in this manor for this family, and there was a horrible incident where the manor family got like murdered, and she took over the identity of the little girl in the family. So she like inherited all this money, but she's really been on a mission to find out what happened and get vengeance for like the family she cared about that got murdered, and her own parents that got murdered that like worked in the manor as well. There was a little boy that also was like a servant type character in this manor, and that's our hero. So the hero, when he was young, was in love with the original Francesca and not this little girl. But the little girl had a crush on him. Like our heroine is the little girl, right? Well, her real name, I don't remember. Let's say her real name is Sophia. So Sophia liked, and I don't remember his name either, and it's not apparent. The Devil of Dorset, right? So we'll call him Dorset. So Sophia had a crush on Dorset when they were kids, and Dorset had a crush on Francesca. Francesca dies, for real. Sophia takes over Francesca's identity, and she's going around town saying she's Francesca. The Dorset guy, as he got older and like got a career in like detective work and stuff, is suspicious that Sophia, claiming to be Francesca, isn't really Francesca, but he doesn't know that she's Sophia. He thinks Sophia died in the incident. This is super confusing. It's not really that confusing, but I hope I'm explaining it well enough. Anyway, he thinks the person claiming to be Francesca is an imposter, which is true. But it's like them going back and forth, her being in love with him, but like not revealing herself, him thinking she's actually the real Francesca after a while, and it's just like kind of complicated. And I just couldn't handle the lying. I hate lying. And I just felt the hidden identity stuff lasted way too long to be fun. Like, how are you building a romantic relationship when you have like no foundation of truth and honesty to build off of for like 70+% of the book, you know? So I really didn't enjoy that. Plus there's all this like other plot with like this secret society and like what happened with the murders and stuff. And that was like way too much percentage of the book. Like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Like, I know books have like romantic plot lines and then they have like plot. But I don't really care about these arbitrary plots. Most of the time, I only care about the plot when it impacts the relationship. And I just feel like sometimes these plots are so separate from the relationship building that I just like, I'm like skimming. Well, I don't skim, but I'm just like so uninterested. I need the plot to like be integral to them like building their connection and stuff for me to truly be entertained. Sometimes I'm just like over it. And then okay, to be fair, sometimes I'm like, fine, it could be interesting. And like, I would think like this crazy like mystery blah 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 would be interesting, but like I truly did not care. So 2.5 stars. And a lot of people that I follow also didn't love this one. Like, Booked and Busy gave it 2 stars, Lacey gave it 3 stars, Jessica gave it 3 stars, Tori gave it 3 stars. Like, not great in the series, even though I have liked this author's other books in the past. Well, I liked the first book in the series. The second book in the series was only aight, and then this one was bad. But I did read another book of hers in May that, slight spoiler, I did really like. Then I read Morning Star. I own this book digitally. I read it for my little quasi book club moment with Sam. She's doing a readathon for the entire Red Rising saga. I'm her like quasi co-host for the lives. I'm supposed to be reading the 4th one soon. I don't know when the live show is. I gave this 4.5 stars. It was nearly 5 stars. I clearly loved it. It had me so emotional. I was emotionally drained reading this book. I wrote in my review, I'm like, I am emotionally drained from this book. I lost all hope and my heart died multiple times reading this. You just get so attached to the characters and things are like deadly and dangerous and tragic things happen in the story. I remember reading it on the train on my way to like Easter, I think it was, right? Was it Easter? And I got to the end of this chapter and it left off on this horrible, horrible, horrible cliffhanger. And I was like, I'm done for now. I can no longer read this right now. I do not need to cry in public right now. So I put it away. And then I picked it back up later that night when I was winding down for bed. And I'm laying in bed in the dark. My husband's sleeping next to me. And I'm just bawling my eyes out as I continue on to the next chapter. Bawling, like immediately. So yeah, that was a fun experience. And I have been enjoying reading it with Sam. So hopefully I can continue on with the 4th one with her in a timely manner and not let her down. And then the only physical book I read in April was Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince by J.K. Rowling. This is book 6. Guys, I'm back on it, slowly making my way through this. Not quite the binge that I originally thought I would do of this series, but almost done. So I finished book 6 and I gave it 4.5 stars. That is so good. I will say I'm very stingy. I'm very stingy with 5 stars. But like as I get more distance from a book that I gave 4.5 stars, I'm like, why didn't I just give it 5 stars? I'm like, what was wrong where it didn't make it all the way? You know, I don't know. So let's see what I wrote. I said in my review, this one is very important for understanding Voldemort's background, which was really true. And I feel like that was such an advantage with reading this versus just watching the movie. Like, I was making the connections a lot better because like I could take my time with it and really absorb what was happening, where sometimes in movies I'm just like, wait, what'd they say? Like, what's going on? You know what I mean? And then I said, also, Ginny shines in this book way more than in the movies. I enjoy her character, which is also really fun about reading the books. Like, Ginny is so overlooked in the movies, but I feel like she's like pretty pivotal in the books. And her little romance with Harry in this one, I was like, what? Like, Harry like grows up throughout the series, so him like kind of going through puberty and like realizing he has a crush on Ginny, and like he's like thinking about her all the time and like dreaming about her, and like he's like, I don't know, like just her scent, like in not like a weird primal mate kind of thing, but just like in a normal thing that brings him comfort. Like, it was just really cute. I said Hermione is annoying, but I still love her. I think she's just a bit of a nag, which sometimes, like, I can be naggy, especially when you know you're right. And Hermione's pretty sure she's right all the time. So yeah, she was a bit annoying. And then I said, I feel like this book would hit very differently if I didn't know anything going into it. It would def keep someone on their toes if they knew nothing about what's happening later on. Oh, okay. I know what this refers to. So I've watched all the movies. I know the double, triple, quadruple crossing, you know, secret agent, blah, 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 like true motives of people. Like, I know those answers. Can I spoil Harry Potter? Like, not really, but like, there is a main antagonist in this book that Dumbledore is always telling Harry to, like, trust him, like, da-da-da-da, like, he's not as bad as you think, like, whatever, and Harry hates this person. It's probably pretty obvious. And in this one, he's, like, very on the side of evil, but you just, like, know his true intentions for the last book, but I'd be curious to see, like, more of the nuance of how he gets there in that. So yeah, this one would really throw you off your game if you had no idea what was coming next, because that one character is blatantly evil in this one. Blatantly, like even I was still shocked. I thought someone else was gonna do the horrible thing that I remembered in the movie, because I didn't remember who did the thing. I thought it was somebody else that did the thing, but no, it was this other person that did the thing, and I was like, he did the thing? Yikes. And I probably just nicked it 0.5 because it wasn't completely perfect. I don't know. I have to just feel it in my heart that it's 5 stars. So, yeah. And then the last book I read in April was Pretty Daring by Jessa Kane. I think I really liked this one. I gave it 4 stars, but I'm like trying to remember what it was about. This one is between Ophelia and Ezra. Ophelia's like this rich girl. She lives in Manhattan. She's like sees herself as being spoiled, but she's pretty like grounded. She's like friends with the maid and all this stuff, this middle-aged woman. And sometimes this maid will ask Ophelia to do her favors, so Ophelia will like run out to the maid's apartment in like Queens or something and pick up her medication if she forgot it and stuff like that. So on one of these days, Ophelia's, you know, letting herself into the maid's apartment, and there's this beast of a man just sitting in the living room, and she's like, uh-oh. And it's this guy, Ezra, and he just got released from prison. He's been in prison for maybe like 7 years or something. And he sees her, and he's like, I wasn't planning on finding myself a woman today after being locked up for 7 years, but I'm obsessed with you and I need you immediately. And it's their steamy, smutty romance, and it was really fun. And there's weird kinks in there. Obviously, there's always like kinks with like daddy kink and voyeurism and like violence in the Jessa Kane books, but this one I had a good time with. It was a fun time. All right, so each month I'm supposed to be reading 3 physical books that I own, 2 Kindle Unlimited books, and 1 Book of the Month book. So I did not hit that for April, but let's see how we did. I read 3 KU books, which isn't terrible, but 2 of them were novellas, so I read 1 physical book, and I read 1 digitally owned book, so we'll give that a pass, even though I only bought it to read it with my friend anyway. So it's not like it's like a backlist book that I owned for a while. Those are all the books that I read for April. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me, chatting about books for a little while. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to leave it a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't already. I would greatly appreciate it, and obviously it helps out my channel. And I will catch you in another video. Bye!